Okay. Now you don't need to do all of these. You just pick at least one of them, one or two of them, and you focus on those one or two. So obviously, after you have all of that information and your knowledge, you're prepared to communicate with your ideal target market. Then you need to create some. You need to create your website if you already don't have it, and if you do have it, then you may need to change up the verbiage on it. And you need to create some ethical bribes, and those ethical bribes could be in the form of videos, or they could be in a form of a PDF that they download, worksheets, infographics, basically stuff that's going to get them to, understand how you can help them and get them to come to the conclusion that they need to either work with you or connect with you for more information. So websites and ethical bribes, very important. So you need to produce those based on the information that you prepared originally. And the next thing is blogs. So you're going to produce some blogs that you can put on your website that you want to keep people coming back to your website, consuming more content. And within those blogs, you want them to almost like they're hidden links, in a series of words or one or two words where people can actually click on that, and maybe they're downloading an infographic, maybe they're downloading a PDF, or they're watching a video series, but it goes right along with the topic of the blog. And it's you're embedding those calls to action right in the blog, so it's not like you're selling, or you can actually have it so if people are clicking, it pops up a sales page where people can buy something specific that you're talking about without you actually being all salesy. So all you're doing is just writing your blog and with some embedded links, and people are clicking on those links because they're interested in more information. So it's either free downloads, or maybe you're actually selling something, a low dollar value item that's for sale as well. And creating those blogs is a reason for people to keep coming back to your website. So the next thing is sales funnels, producing some sales funnels. Obviously, if you're selling products or services, or selling things online, or even if you're not selling online but you're doing high-end coaching, or you're selling, you have a brick and mortar business, having people go through a sales funnel, even though there might not be a sale at the end specifically, but having them go through sort of that process where they're gathering information and they're gathering more information, they're getting deeper into the process. So the next the next sort of action is to either connect with you to buy your product or service, come into your store, whatever it is. So having that sales funnel, which is really like a sales process that you take people through, it really helps segregate the people who are just somewhat interested to the people who are more interested because they're taking the action and finding out more information about that product or the service or the solution. So the next thing to produce is a book or podcast. Now I'm going to talk about an overall strategy sort of once I finish going through all these. So having a book or a podcast show will definitely elevate your authority. It's, so having a clear understanding of who you help and how you help them. And you can deliver that very effectively in an actual book, or if you're running a podcast show, because you can incorporate a lot of that information into your shows on a daily basis, and people are getting to know you, getting to like you, and hopefully, and learning to trust you, because they can see what type of person you are. They can see that you're out there delivering value and giving back, and sort of they can get to know sort of your knowledge level and things like that. So creating a book or a podcast is extremely important when it comes to elevating your authority, accelerating your authority. You can do it extremely quickly once you become a #1 best-selling author or you have a podcast channel. Now the next thing is video content. Doing things like live shows, live Facebook Live. Maybe you're just doing a series of videos. Maybe it's the 10 most frequently asked questions and a series of the 10 should ask questions with regards to your product or service, and implementing and producing those so that you can so that people can consume them and find out more about the product or service, or more about you, or more about your business, or things that they need to look out for that they haven't been told about your industry, things like that. So creating a video series can definitely go a long way. And oops. If you're in the information space, maybe you're going to create your information product or your course or your paid content. So that's something that might not be for everybody, but that's something that you can utilize as well. So this is a step 2. This is producing your content. Remember, the first thing was preparing. The second thing is producing. Now, what I found and what we actually use with my private clients and the Authority Acceleration Blueprint is that it's a lot of work to create all this stuff. So what I've done is I've found out that if I actually create a video, like doing these Facebook, I'm just going to go through my program, creating these Facebook Live videos. So I'm creating these videos, are 1-hour videos. So what I'm actually able to do with this 1-hour video is have blogs actually created and written. So the content from the video gets transcribed. That transcription then gets reworded and turned into a blog or two. So then we're taking video clips out of the 1-hour segment. We're creating video clips, so smaller clips that people can actually consume much easier. Then we're writing a series of video social media posts. We're also taking all of the transcriptions from all of the shows, and we're actually able to piece together 1 or 2 different books. So we'll have 1 or 2 different books from all of the content that we're creating from these videos, from the transcriptions. And we're taking the videos and we're editing them and turning them into a video podcast. And then once we have the video podcast created, we're extrapolating the audio to turn into an audio podcast. So I don't want to overwhelm you, but what I am personally doing is all I am doing is creating a 1-hour show 5 days a week. But for my clients, I'm having them create 1 hour of video per week for 15 weeks. That's all that they have to do. Then the rest of it goes to outsourcers to do all that other work. So, we're only actually I'm only creating the actual first video. Everything else gets created as a result of the video, so it gets repurposed. So you don't have to go and create all of this stuff individually. You can actually just create one thing and repurpose that one thing to create everything else that you see on the list. And that is producing your content. Okay, so that's the second P, producing your content. So we're going to move on to the next item. The third P is publish. And what I mean by publish is now that you have created all of that content, you've prepared it, you've produced it, now you need to publish it, meaning that you have videos that you need to get out into the internet world. You have blog articles that you need to get out onto your website and to various other platforms that allow you to create content. You have a podcast that you need to upload to the internet, get on iTunes. You have both video podcasts, audio podcasts. So publishing really is meant, once you've created your content, now it's time to get it out there so that people can actually see it and consume it. So the first thing is your book. So remember we talked about getting the transcriptions from all my videos and then getting it turned into a book. And what we do once we have that book is we upload it to Amazon, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and they have self-publishing systems. So both of my #1 best-selling books I actually self-published, and the 1 or 2 books I'll be doing between now and Christmas will also be self-published. So I just take the information from these videos, the different transcriptions, and we'll piece together what will turn into a book. It'll get sent to an editor for editing purposes, and then we'll upload it to Amazon, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, so that the book will be available anywhere around the world and even in local bookstores. Okay? So that's how you can publish your book. Your podcast, you definitely want to get it up on iTunes, and you want to implement a strategy to try to get it to new and noteworthy in the top 100 podcasts, so that you can generate more subscribers, because that's really what you want. People consuming your podcast, because that's where you're going to deliver your message. That's where people are going to learn to know you, to like you, and to trust you, and potentially take action to get more information from you. And that's how you're going to generate clients from your podcast. Now, your next one is your blog on your website. So from the content that you created, you now have a series of blogs, and you can, obviously you don't want to put them all up at once. You want to sort of drip them out over time. So once you put a blog up, then you do some social posts, then you get some engagement, you get people, drive people to your website to engage in the blog. Remember, the blog is designed to sort of walk somebody through the conclusion that they need to take some sort of action, and you have embedded actions all throughout the blog where people can click on links to download new things, to give you their name and email. But just driving the people to your website, to your blog, because you're going to use things called pixels, which enable you to track these people, whether they're on YouTube or Google or Facebook, so that if they've gone to your website, that when they're searching on Facebook or searching on YouTube, that you can actually market to them directly or advertise them, send ads directly targeted to them as well as your autoresponder or your CRM may have the ability to track what they look at, sort of what they engage in, things like that as well. So again, blogs is for your website. You want to drip that stuff out. You've already prepared it. So have embedded calls to action, ethical bribes. It's really a soft sell without ever asking people for a sale, without ever asking them to actually take action. You sort of embedded it right into the blog itself. Now, the next thing is your video content, your YouTube. So what I'm doing with, just to give you an example, all of these episodes are being uploaded to YouTube. They're also being sent and getting edited for the podcast, as well as a lot of them are being turned into somewhere between 4 to 8 different clips, video clips, that you can consume much easier. So they'll be somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes per clip, depending upon when I decide to take a break during the clip. So definitely you want to upload this video content to YouTube, and you want to put a lot of tagging in there and keywords. Make sure that it's keyword rich, so that it's going to help you when people are doing searching on Google or they're searching on YouTube, that they're going to be able to find your videos and sort of get introduced to you as well. The next thing is information product courses. Definitely if you've created those, if you prepared them and you produced them, then you're going to need a site like Optimized Press or Kajabi. You need a membership site where you can actually house that stuff, and you have a sales funnel that's going to get the person into the membership site by paying. And whether it's a one-time fee or a monthly fee, you can collect the money, you can do the payment processor and get the money into your account. So having a membership site for that information product is something that you definitely want to have if you're going down that road. That's not for everybody, obviously. Remember, this is not meant for you to do every single one of these things. What you want to do is you want to pick 1 or 2 different things that you're going to focus on, and you want to do it consistently, persistently, on a regular basis. And the last thing is evergreen webinars. So a couple different options there. Webinar Jam, GoToWebinar. There's also some new technology that's just emerging right now. I'm just not going to mention their names because one is just about to launch. The other one is sort of in a trial mode. But definitely look at some webinar solutions. And you want to create some webinars. There's a couple different ways to do webinars. One is you do webinars for the specific purpose of delivering value to people, giving them good content, getting them to know you, to like you, to trust you, to sort of shorten that the time it takes to get people to know you, like you, and trust you. You can do that within an hour and a half. But you can also design and create webinars to do that, but also that you're selling a product or service as well. So creating evergreen webinars, having webinars for people to actually go through and where you actually have a call to action. Maybe you're selling information products. Maybe you're selling your high-end coaching. Maybe it's an application process to get into your high-end coaching. Maybe it's not a sale, but just an application process, or maybe you're doing a survey. So, you want to get these people to actually take some action. But creating evergreen webinars is vitally important. So publishing that information out there, getting people to consume it, to drive them to that, get them to take action is definitely going to help when it comes to accelerating your authority. Okay, so that's the publish aspect of it. Remember, in the planning and the producing, you produced all this content. Now it's time to distribute it. So that's what the publishing, the third P, the publishing is all about, is actually the content that you've created. It's now time to get it out to the internet world or to the world so people can actually consume it.